Continuing Jasmine Rhodes' journey as she uncovers the truth behind Redbridge's betrayal. The boardroom trap. From fire to feared, now she's walking straight into their trap. The letter from Malcolm had changed everything. It wasn't just a warning. It was a confession. And a dare. If this gets out, Redbridge won't survive. But you might not either. Jasmine didn't flinch. She'd spent her life being underestimated. She wasn't about to run now. 3 days later, Jasmine walked into the Redbridge boardroom, the same place she once stood as an employee with too much attitude. Now, she was the face of their last hope. But this wasn't a pitch. This was a probe. She wasn't just there to save their brand. She was there to expose what they buried. Elaine Howard was already seated at the table, composed, powerful, dangerous. "Jasmine," she said, her smile tight. "Let's begin." As Jasmine opened her presentation, her mind wasn't on slides. It was on Frank Carver, the investor Tark identified. 3 companies, 3 fraud scandals, 1 pattern: buy low, manipulate internal leadership, drain assets, disappear, and Redbridge was next, unless Jasmine got to the truth first. Later that night, back at Nova HQ, Tark pulled Jasmine aside. "I decrypted something buried in their HR logs," he said. He handed her a flash drive. "It's not just your firing, Jazz. They've done this before. To 3 other black executives. Same pattern. Same language. Not a good fit. Too disruptive. Poor cultural alignment." Her throat tightened. This wasn't personal. This was systemic. But then came the twist. Tark looked uneasy. "I think Malcolm found this first. I found traces of his last login. He tried to download this data. Then, nothing. They wiped his entire access trail after that night." Jasmine went still. He tried to expose them, and they made him disappear. She knew what she had to do. The next morning, Jasmine scheduled a private strategy session with Redbridge's senior board members. She told Elaine she wanted to present a high-level rebrand direction. What she didn't tell her was that she planned to record the entire meeting. The boardroom was full, 5 men, 2 women, all seasoned, all smiling too politely. Elaine sat directly across from Jasmine, poised like a chess master. "So, Jasmine," one board member asked, "what's your big vision?" She smiled. "It starts with the truth." Click. The recorder in her bag was live. Jasmine walked them through Redbridge's past branding failures, using coded language that only someone digging deeper would notice. Then she paused. "Tell me," she asked calmly, "how do you plan to rebuild trust when the leadership culture here has been built on burying voices like mine?" The air froze. Elaine's smile faded. "I don't appreciate the implication," she said coolly. "It's not an implication," Jasmine said. "It's documentation." She reached into her folder, but before she could reveal the evidence, a security guard entered the room. "Ms. Rhodes," he said, "I've been asked to escort you out. Now." Jasmine raised an eyebrow. "Excuse me?" Elaine stood. "Your contract allows us to terminate consultation without cause," she said smoothly. "Effective immediately." The board sat silent. No one defended her. No one even looked surprised. This was a setup. And Jasmine just walked straight into it. As she packed her things, Elaine leaned in. "You're smart, Jasmine. But smart doesn't beat power. Not in this building." Jasmine met her gaze without flinching. "Then maybe it's time to burn the building down." Later that night, Jasmine and Tark reviewed the audio. The recording had captured enough. Veiled threats, indirect admissions, and the moment Elaine pulled the plug. It wasn't a full takedown, but it was enough to make someone start talking. "We need a leak," Tark said. "Someone inside who still has something to lose." Jasmine nodded, and then she remembered something from the letter Malcolm left. A name scrawled in the margin. J. Cartwright. She had missed it the first time. She opened Redbridge's public filings. Board of directors, legal counsel, executive team. 8th there he was. Julian Cartwright, senior legal officer. Malcolm's former college roommate. The one person who might still have a conscience and a key. Jasmine's fingers hovered over her phone. "If he's still alive," she muttered, "he's my next move." Tarek looked at her. "And if he's not?" Jasmine didn't answer. She just stared at the letter again, the one that started it all. The paper trembled slightly in her hand. Not from fear. From fuel. Some secrets are buried beneath contracts. Others beneath silence. Julian Cartwright, senior legal officer at Redbridge. Malcolm's former roommate. The only person in that building who ever looked Jasmine in the eye without flinching. He kept to himself. Never spoke more than necessary. But Jasmine remembered the way he paused the day she was fired, hand tightening on his pen, like he wanted to say something but didn't. Now she understood why. Tarek ran the data. Cartwright's clean. No red flags. He's not part of Elaine's inner circle, but he's logged into the HR vault more than anyone else, including her. Jasmine nodded slowly. He knows where the bodies are buried. She called him. No answer. So she texted, "I need to talk. About Malcolm. About Redbridge. Face to face." He replied 3 minutes later. "Tomorrow, 8 p.m. Weller Park. North Bench." Simple. Precise. Nervous. The next night, under dim park lights, Jasmine arrived early. She wore dark clothes and left her phone with Tarek, just in case. Cartwright showed up 10 minutes later. Same press suit, same tired eyes, but his hands shook when he sat down. "Why now?" Jasmine asked. "Because you're the only one still standing," he said quietly. Cartwright reached into his coat pocket and handed her a flash drive. Everything Malcolm tried to leak. The files Elaine buried. The pattern. The payoffs. The shadow accounts Frank Carver used to funnel money through Redbridge's R&D budget. Jasmine stared at him. "Why give this to me?" "Because I think Elaine had Malcolm silenced." He said it without flinching, like a man with nothing left to lose. They talked for 14 minutes. That's all it took for Jasmine to realize how deep this went. Frank Carver wasn't just trying to buy Redbridge. He already owned half of it, through shell companies, foreign proxies, and consulting partnerships signed off by Cartwright's predecessor. Redbridge wasn't being sabotaged. It was being laundered. Cartwright stood to leave. "I'll deny everything if this goes public, but you'll know what to do with it." He started walking, then paused. "There's one more thing." He turned to her, his voice lower now. Malcolm didn't leave on his own. Elaine told the board he accepted a settlement, but there's no record of a payment. Jasmine's pulse quickened. "Then where is he?" Cartwright hesitated. "Check the outbound manifest for company property. The week after you're fired." "Why?" "Because I signed off on a shipment that made no sense. An equipment disposal transfer routed to a private facility Frank Carver owns." That night, Jasmine and Tarek dug into Redbridge's internal logistics. They found it. One manifest, dated 2 weeks after her termination. Item listed. Classified storage unit 1 item. Handoff required. No ID. Destination. Carver Secure Holdings. Could be a hard drive, Tarek muttered. Or a laptop. Or, Jasmine's voice cut in, or a body. They traced the facility. It was off-grid, privately owned. No digital footprint. Only way in? Physical access. No cameras. No paper trail. Jasmine looked up. "We're going." The next morning, Jasmine received an encrypted message from an anonymous email. "You're close. Too close. Back off, Jasmine, or you'll end up like him." Attached was a grainy still image. A man in a storage room, slumped, unmoving, head down, wristbound. It looked like Malcolm, but the image was too blurred to be sure. Tarek zoomed in. Enhancement software struggled to clarify the frame. If that's him, he's alive. Jasmine stared at the screen, then at the flash drive Cartwright gave her. The secrets of a company, traded for silence. But Jasmine, she wasn't here to go quiet. She was here to bring everything into the light. She stood, grabbed her coat. Tarek, prep the car. "Where are we going?" "To the facility. Tonight." He looked at her. "You sure? It could be a trap." Exactly. She wanted justice. Now she's chasing a ghost. What's really inside that warehouse? And if it's not Malcolm, she's walking into the dark. And someone doesn't want her to come back. The facility, some doors were never meant to be opened. But Jasmine's kicking them in anyway. It was just after midnight. No headlights. No GPS. Just Jasmine, Tarek, and a borrowed van crawling down an unmarked gravel road 30 minutes outside Austin. At the end of the road, a gated complex with no signs, no logos, and no guard in sight. You sure this is it? Tarek whispered. Jasmine nodded. Carver Secure Holdings. Same coordinates from the manifest. The gate was locked, but the keypad looked dated. Tarek popped open the access panel and smirked. Old firmware. I'll have it open in less than 60 seconds. Make it 30, Jasmine muttered, watching the tree line. Inside the compound, floodlights flickered above rows of concrete storage units. No labels, no cameras, just silence, the kind that presses against your skin. They move quickly, following the manifest code, B12. At the far end of the row, they found it, Unit B12, oversized, reinforced, padlocked with an industrial-grade chain. Tarek started to pick it. Jasmine kept watch, her eyes scanning for movement, her breath measured. We shouldn't be here, Tarek muttered. That's exactly why we are, she replied. The lock clicked open. The door groaned as it rolled upward. What they saw inside stopped them cold. A sealed containment crate. Steel, 4 feet high. Biohazard label scratched out. A clipboard lay on top. Manifest code. MD. Contents. Secured asset. Do not open without clearance. Signature. Elaine Howard. Tarek's voice was barely a whisper. They signed off on storing human being like equipment. Jasmine stared at the crate. If he's in there, he's either alive or long gone. She reached for the latch, then froze. Footsteps. 2 sets. Heavy boots. Coming fast. We're not alone, she whispered. They ducked behind the crate as flashlights swept the unit. Voices followed. Male. 1 calm, 1 nervous. I told you the motion sensor tripped again. Yeah, and last time was raccoons. You want to get chewed out by Carver again. They stopped just outside. Still better check inside. A hand reached for the crate latch. Jasmine raised her phone silently. Hit record. She caught a glimpse of one man. Tall, built like ex-military. The other was younger, sweating bullets. I still don't get why they didn't just get rid of the asset, the younger one muttered. Because Carver wanted insurance, and Elaine needed leverage. Dead people don't talk, but they also don't sign NDAs. Jasmine's heart slammed against her ribs. They were talking about Malcolm. Suddenly, Tarek's elbow nudged her. He pointed toward the corner, a second door, slightly ajar, a side exit. They made their move, silently slipping out as the guards examined the crate. They ducked between units, breath low, boots muffled by dirt. Back at the van, Jasmine whispered, "We come back tomorrow. Cameras, a full team." Tarek started the engine, but before they could pull away, Jasmine's phone buzzed. Unknown number. She hesitated. Answered. A voice scrambled, distorted. "You're getting close, Jasmine." Who is this? Someone who knows what Redbridge is hiding, and who knows you're not safe anymore. Where's Malcolm? Alive. For now. But you're not the only one looking for him. What do you want? Silence. Then, check your inbox in 10 minutes. And Jasmine, if you open the wrong file, they'll come for you next. The call ended. Jasmine stared at the dark trees outside the windshield. "We're not chasing ghosts anymore," she whispered. "This thing's alive." Tarek looked at her. "What now?" Jasmine's voice was steady. "Now we find the source. Whoever's leaking these files, whoever's protecting Malcolm, they know what's coming." She glanced at her inbox, just as an email pinged through. No subject, no sender, just one attachment. Project Widow Phase 1 approval. She clicked it open, and what she saw made her blood run cold. TOB can Project Widow Redbridge wasn't just hiding a scandal. They were building one, a secret storage unit, a name buried in manifest logs, a live subject, and a project that was never supposed to exist. What do you think Project Widow is? Comment below, and subscribe to Truth in Black and White.